everybody, Orange Podcast Bet, episode 30, Jesus, 32. 32 of these things. Oh, wow. We got all kinds of fun things to talk about. I want to we're going to get to all the crazy. There's a lot of crazy going on in the world. But since I got both of you on laptops, you'll be able to see this video. I left the name of the author in the video. It's a TikTok video, but I had to change the sound because it was copyrighted music. But let me just play the video.
Woo! Hell yeah!
So it'll do it again, don't worry. Here he goes, watch him.
Oh my god.
Assisted K9 fur missile.
There is probably more badass than that.
Alright, so over at K9_D_F is the credit goes to you, whoever you stole this video from, because that's what people do on the internet. We steal videos and play them for everybody. But Jesus, I mean, I've totally seen them skydive while attached to their handler.
Yeah,
I've
to
never
attach to
seen
their
one.
handler, yeah.
I've never seen a K9 just go, oh yeah,
Do
absolutely.
a free fall. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
just go. Oh,
You know what?
incredible.
If we
I
could
have no
train
idea the
1,500
validity of it.
dachshunds, I'm sorry. If we could train 1,500 wiener dogs to do that, they could destroy an entire country.
Dude, could you imagine all these little dachshunds flying in? It looks like little wiener drones.
Just yelling and screaming at everyone they land when they land. We are here. Take us to eat your leader. I couldn't pass that one up. I saw that. I had to take the time to edit it so that it was safe for us to play.
That was beautiful.
How cool
Dude, that was
that?
beautiful. You know what that is? That's America. That's what that is.
America.
America.
You know what? I'm thinking if they did the wiener dog, they might not be as effective because they'd have to have two parachutes, one for the front and one for the back.
Yeah. Keep them balanced out.
Right? That's funny. Well,
or they look like an ampersand going down.
it's just hanging. Good toss. Well, hey, should we airdrop a bunch of fur missiles into Los Angeles tonight?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, listen. We've got LA. This is for real. We've got LA, and I've actually got some people that know a bunch of stuff about LA. There have people out rescuing some of the wildlife. I know this is going to sound crazy, but they actually have lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, they have coyotes,
True.
They have mountain lions, they have deer. They have a lot of wildlife in LA. And a lot of this stuff, when it goes off like this, they get affected. They anticipate the fourth coming and stuff like that, but a lot of things have happened. And I talked to a buddy of mine. He said they're having to rescue certain animals that are just trying to run from what's going on right now because this isn't normal. So
totally makes sense. But what normally walks around Los Angeles is such a huge area. I mean, is there a ton of mountain lions, or is there only like 3?
No, there's mountain lions. I was at Universal Studios probably 4 years ago. I'm going to say 4 years ago. Universal Studios, and I've seen coyotes there before, but I saw, because we left late because my wife has to go shopping, hit every damn shop while we're at Universal Studios. So after it's closed, we have to go hit the ones on the outside. And when everybody's closing, she goes, "It's okay, they like us here." So yeah, I'm that guy. So we leave at like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm driving, and I look, and I see a mountain lion running across the path. This is Universal Studios. It's its own city
Wow, dude. Yeah.
right
Right.
right there. It. I don't think people understand. There's a Los Angeles is this own little animal, and around it is the Los Angeles National Forest. You can say what you want to, but picture Hollywood Hills, and that's up on a big mountain sign, or that sign's up on a big mountain. There's wildlife there. There's things that'll eat you out there. And I
Oh,
lived for a while. I lived in Big Bear, and we've got all sorts of wildlife. No bears. I didn't see any bears, but they got raccoons the size of small bears. But I've seen a lot of wildlife up in there, and a lot of coyotes.
Oh yeah, Coyote. They've it doesn't matter whether it's L.A. or any other metroplex, as we've been building out suburbs and putting in high density housing everywhere. The coyotes don't have a choice but to be in the cities. So don't be surprised when you see one. Also, don't freak out. It's a dog. It's a canine species. It's scared of you unless you get in its business, and then it's going to attack you. Just
Oh,
walk by, let it do its thing. You don't want to mess with them. They're gnarly, gnarly canines. You don't want them around, but they're going to be around in the cities. It's just the way it is.
yeah, every once in a while you'll see something. You'll see, and we have them here. You'll see people say, "I found this dog, and it looks really skinny and mangy. Does anybody recognize this dog?" And they've got a picture of a coyote sitting in the front seat of their car as they're taking it
oh
away.
my God.
And I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna die! I can't
Yeah.
believe you did that." And there's just this little coyote that's sitting there, but if you try and touch them, they will nip at you. These are even the tame ones. You can't breed that out of them. And when I say tame ones, I mean like in zoos because they've been injured or something. You
Yeah. Or
can't,
they're not rabid. Yeah.
yeah, and you just can't tame them to not do that. That's just what they do. It's they bite.
You can tame a baby raccoon now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why? Why would you want to?
I don't know, but people do it, and all those people over there on TikTok that like to watch animal
So in
videos.
East Texas, we practice what's known as culling the herd.
Mm-hmm.
And so I carry, uh, I think it's a Ruger product, but it's called the Judge.
I want one of those.
So it shoots 410 or 45 long colt. And that is stuck in my dashboard in my side by side. And it is my snake, coyote, and I one time pissed off a hog with it. And he looked at me like, and I'm like, bro, don't come at me.
You're gonna have to get a
Yeah,
you're gonna have to put a trailer hook on the back of the side by side so you can drag around a howitzer for the hogs.
that's or a GAU out of an A10. Whoa.
Yeah, you're right. They're nothing to mess with.
Yep.
Oh, all right. It looks like we got all the chat rooms up. Hey, drop us chats. We'd like to hear from you. Call us old, call us bald, call us fat. We don't really care. Just hang out with us. All right. So we haven't had Paul for a while, and I want to get into this because Paul and I have had some very good conversations about military and them not being police. So I want to go back to, I want to rewind to 1992.
One is the urgent need to restore order. What followed Wednesday's jury verdict in the Rodney King case was a tragic series of events for the city of Los Angeles. Nearly 4,000 fires, staggering property damage, hundreds of injuries, and the senseless deaths of over 30 people. To restore order right now, there are 3,000 National Guardsmen on duty in the city of Los Angeles. Another 2,200 stand ready to provide immediate support. To supplement this effort, I've taken several additional actions. First, this morning I've ordered the Justice Department to dispatch 1,000 federal riot-trained law enforcement officials to help restore order in Los Angeles, beginning tonight. These officials include FBI SWAT teams, special riot control units of the U.S. Marshals Service, the Border Patrol, and other federal law enforcement agencies. Second, Another 1,000 federal law enforcement officials are on standby alert should they be needed. Third, early today, I directed 3,000 members of the 7th Infantry and 1,500 Marines to stand by at El Toro Air Station, California. Tonight, at the request of the governor and the mayor, I have committed these troops to help restore order. I'm also federalizing the National Guard, and I'm instructing General Colin Powell to place all those troops under a central command.
So, a couple of things that are different from what's going on today is the governor was participating. The governor in California is not participating this year, which is where the lawfare and the lawsuit comes up. Tomorrow, there's a court case on it to see if Gavin Newsom can get it stopped. But right now, it's in full effect. And Paul, we like so. There's a couple of things that I want to lay out first. The actual Marine Corps is not tasked or given any policing duties. None have been deputized for policing authority. They are their body shield around federal buildings tonight. That's what they're doing. In my opinion, you go, well, that's really scary looking, but also that allows LAPD, if they're gonna do their job, to actually take care of other issues and not have to worry about people graffitiing or orange spray painting the federal buildings down there. But I gotta get your thoughts on what you think about all this. And we have done it before. We did it in '92 in LA.
So I have some thoughts, and I like to share them with you.
Please.
The United States Marine Corps is a killing machine. That's what they are trained to do. They are first in, last out, and are disruptors and killers of enemies of the United States government. They are not riot police. They don't take training in riot policing. They literally, just by luck, uh, didn't kill anybody in Grenada when they went there to rescue those medical doctors, uh, because they're soldiers. They are soldiers. The National Guard, they are soldiers. Now, I would say there is an element of the National Guard that does receive mass casualty, riot training. It's like this little small part of their training that they do. But let me tell you something, man. You send the United States Marine Corps, the Devil Dogs, down to LA, their job is not to affect arrest. Their job is to cull the herd. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just the way it is, dude.
Yeah, we've definitely had this conversation before, but now that it's happening live,
Yeah, it's
and
happening
we're
live.
looking at this group called No Kings. I'm sure King
Oh,
Charles
for
III.
fuck's sake,
I'm
Sean.
sure they're
You got a
super scared of him.
dude, you got a guy with gauges in his ears and a fucking cow ring in his nose, and he's got purple hair and all that kind of shit. And he's gonna go against a Marine and he's gonna like push him and say, "You get away from me." The Marine's gonna pummel his ass.
Right.
Not take him into custody and showing the error of his ways. No, that's not what Marines do. They're monosyllabic, they talk in one syllable words, and they're straight line, bad guy. They're like canines, and I can't say it more simple than that.
Or so are we here because we have completely eroded our ability with the US Marshal
Yes,
Service and the FBI to
yes,
respond to events like this?
yes. Go ahead, Kess.
Well, I just want to ask you a question before I jump into the other part. Does it make any difference if I tell you these are the Marines from 29 Palms?
Oh damn! Why you gotta be like that, Kess? No, 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 no. I know what you're doing. I see what you're doing, bro. No, no, no. You're not doing the Lejeune 29 Palms thing. I got you.
No, no, that's a legit question. The 29
No,
Palms
it's
is
not.
no, this is actually legit because 29 Palms is where they send the Marines to be the best Marines. This is where they teach them to go and how to survive. This is where they actually have Marines that I met some Marines. Their job at 29 Palms was to die in a tank, and they did that repeatedly through war games. This is where all of these things happen. These are the guys where they send the bad guys. These aren't. I don't mean bad. I mean the badass guys. These aren't the guys sitting on the beach in the Central California. These are the guys where they send them to train uh, in 29 Palms. And I wasn't going with the 29 Palms Lejeune thing. That was just because there's East Coast, West Coast. I know that it wasn't about that. It was about this is where the West Coast badass Marines go. And there's two camps.
It really is. Yeah, yeah. So those, no, no. And I'll grant you that. Yeah, the 29 Palms Marines do receive different training than other Marines.
Yeah, and
And
it's
none of it, but the thing of it is, Kes, none of it has to do with crowd control. None of it has to do with, you know, controlling uh, serious,
Riots.
groups of people and stuff. That's
no,
not
it's
their job. They're fucking soldiers.
no,
They
that's
are
their job.
killers. Killers.
Their job, and you don't. And that's what I tell people when they say, "Oh, I'm a retired Marine." Then I know you're not a Marine because the
And
Marines are
you're
never.
not a Marine, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. When somebody says I'm a retired Marine, I already know they're lying. I'm not in the Marines. I was never in the Marines. But I
Yeah.
can tell you, I know enough about the Marines. You're never retired from the Marines. You are always a
That's right.
Marine.
You're a Marine. Yeah. You're 70 years old and you're a Marine. Yeah.
So there's,
I was in
there's
the Air Force and even I know that.
but the other thing is when we're talking about with the second part of what Sean said was the optics of what's going on and what we have going different between 1992 and what we've got going on now. I was literally watching a cast on the news with where we had people getting ready to say, "Look, we've got people in custody," and these guys threw Mazel Tov cocktails at policemen and at police horses. I watched this live on TV, so I watched it happen. They threw them. The guy came over because we said this is going to be the clip that everybody's going to show. Watch me, because when you say that's the clip Kes was talking about,
Right.
they had this guy that had thrown it, and there's fire in the background where he had thrown it. You can see where he threw it. They came out. They had three police horses surround this guy. One of the police horses stepped on the guy. They hit him with the sticks a bunch of times, and then the guy ended up getting up. But what they're going to show is the police horse running over the guy and them hitting him with a bunch of sticks, and that's it. There's not going to be any more to the story. So when they did that, they said these are the bad guys. They threw fire at police people and tried to kill him. What happened was that got interrupted by the California uh, people talking, saying, "Well, let me go ahead. This is what's going on." And it took them 20 minutes to get to the part where they start talking about it and about actual criminals and what's been happening. And so they say some people may or may not, and keep in mind, we don't want to tell you that they're guilty because this is the evidence that they're going to be go through and they're going to have a court case and they're going through all this. These people threw stuff at people. It was on TV. We have
Sure.
people that witnessed it. The
Yeah, yeah,
cops.
yeah.
I mean, the guy got up and walked away. I mean, they handcuffed him, but he got up and walked away. But they beat him, and he tried to. This guy threw fire bombs at horses. Just think about
Well,
that.
it's like, so what they're using this forecast, and Paul, and to the audience is right. They're going, and there's no kings protest, which we'll talk more about later. But what they're trying to do is say, look, see what you voted for, Republicans. Don't you regret what it's like to live under a Donald Trump presidency? And you're not changing any of our minds. This is not we're whipping illegals under term one from horseback. We see the full videos. We have access to X and other platform, Telegram, other platforms where we can see the whole video, not edited by the television people, right?
Right.
So we know that it was instigated, and so when you, God, they looked like wooden swords. It almost cracked me up. I don't know why the cops were carrying a wooden sword, but whatever. So they beat the guy down, so that they could detain him. And he also came up and punched a horse in the mouth. Horses under California state penal code that are members of law enforcement. Now
Sure they are.
they're not humans, but they are protected
Yeah.
in the same way
Same with
legally.
K9. Yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, dude got beat down. Dude, there's other video. Dude, there's a video going around. It's making its way where some guy was firing a handgun at law enforcement officers, and they're on the search for him right now. Because Wild, he posted it. Well, one of his buddies posted it on the internet as alive. He was taking shots at law enforcement. It doesn't sound like he hit anybody, but this is. I think, Paul, we gotta look at. I I don't know what else to do if we don't have enough marshals and FBI to corral riots. What do
Right.
we do today? What do we do the next week? Because this
Right.
next week coming up, there's riots scheduled everywhere across the United States. Like
Oh yeah. Ad
locally,
nauseum. Yeah.
like
Every
I
blue
could drive
city.
5 miles in
Yeah.
any direction, and there's a riot scheduled.
Right.
So what do we
So,
what do we do? How do we fix this? Obviously,
so
we gotta
there's,
hire FBI and
there really is no fix to it. It's just the iteration and the next generation of law enforcement and stuff, and people's perception. So with millennials and Gen Z, they don't they don't understand um, the temerity of their actions with law enforcement. So I will say this. When I went into law enforcement in 1983, we wore, I was working for a sheriff's office in Florida. We wore forest green triple knit polyester
hot as fuck.
with 10 pounds of body armor and another 10 pounds of, gunslinging equipment. And my uniform pants had a little slot in the side of them so I could put my sap in there. And a sap is a leather piece about this long that had about a quarter pound of powdered lead here. And so I pull over somebody and they go, "What did you pull me over for?" "Well, I pulled you over because we're in Florida and drugs are pervasive and you made a lane change without using a turn signal. And I'm betting you got drugs in the car and you might be stupid. And so I'm within my legal rights to pull you over because you did not use your turn signal when you changed lanes. And the guy goes,
Right?
you can't do that. And then I could pull out my sap and go, wham! Right across the bridge of his nose and go, you misunderstand, dude. I'm the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So you need to get a tissue or a rag or something to stop that bleeding on your face. You step out of the car so you can talk to me. But it doesn't
So
go that
I
way
know
anymore.
I think you make a great point that the rules of engagement have had to change because
Yeah,
of technology
yeah,
to get compliance. But you still need to get compliance. The problem is you have the crying, almost they're dying, but crying liberal media that will get these videos and say, "See, police brutality,
yeah.
Trump, he's an authoritarian,"
Oh,
and
and you got these guys that are like, I want your supervisor. Well, I want my
okay.
supervisor too because he's good looking and fit, and I really like him.
And he's standing right next to you.
Yeah, but he's not
And
coming today.
they're like,
So,
there's nobody next to you. That's
yeah,
right. You're speaking to the manager, Karen.
yeah.
Oh, the worst thing, and I've told you this, that pisses me off so much, is these quote unquote First Amendment auditors.
Oh, come on, dude. Yeah,
Dude, listen, they go out and are they technically lawful? Some of them.
yeah.
And do they win a shit ton of money? And
Oh, yeah,
but people who just scroll TikTok see this shit and go, "Oh, I can do it too." So
yeah.
next time I get pulled
And
over,
that,
I'm just gonna throw
right,
my
Tess?
ID up on
Right?
the
That's how that
glass.
goes, right? They do that shit.
I'm
Yes.
gonna throw my ID
Where
up on the
you're like,
glass and not roll the window
I'm law
down.
enforcement. Look. See how I got your shirt? Yeah. Potato, 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 potato.
I do like the America shirt. That's a solid shirt. Good choice.
That's it. America United,
It's a
except for in
solid
LA.
choice. All right, Cass, I gotta get you back in. So, you're at least somewhere near the battle zone. The battle zone is spreading. What's your thoughts on having National Guard, and then also active duty Marines?
So let's start off. So this, I want to start off with a little bit of a timeline. This escalated from Wednesday and Thursday, where in San Diego they shut down the I-5. And for those of you
Oh,
that
they
don't
did.
know, yes, this started earlier. So
Oh,
this
I
Okay.
started.
didn't know that. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. So Trump isn't working off of Friday and Saturday. Trump is working off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and how it was progressing. Um, so when this happened, and for those of you that don't know, I-5 goes from Mexico all the way up through California, Oregon, Washington, and it stops at the border, at the northern border. So it goes state to state. So when you start shutting off one of the main arteries to California, that's not a little tiny thing that they did. Um, and it disrupts a lot of people. I mean, granted, it's the beginning or the end, depending on where you are, because San Diego is near Mexico. But they still, that's a major thoroughway that they did. So this started when they were protesting ICE raids then. And
Okay.
what happened was, and I don't know how much of this you guys got, because I this looked like a video game. And you hear people like Karen Bass, the mayor of LA, was saying, oh, they had armored vehicles while they were pulling. No, they had two carrier vans, two personnel vans, white cargo type vans with seats in them, and one Tahoe or Suburban uh, SUV. That was it. These are just regular cars. And when I started watching it, when it got live, was because this is now a battlefield. We have people coming out of a facility. It was a factory, a garment factory, where they're working in a warehouse, and they found a bunch of illegals. They're pulling these guys out, It's like a video game because these guys are backed up against people throwing
Yeah,
ice,
sure.
rocks,
Yeah.
and other things at them. And these so the ice agents. Now, keep in mind, there's not that many ice agents are shooting back with pepper ball guns. We all know these because Tim Walz used these against the citizens when they were trying to step outside their house at night.
Sure did.
But here in California, it's a bad thing. So they're trying to repel people. So they finally shoot back. Now they made a call to police, and if you look at what they say, the response time was only 38 minutes, and that time keeps getting shorter and shorter. That was the response time. That was from the time that they responded to their call. For them to get there was over an hour. These people, so this is an hour of almost active combat with civilians that you can't
Oh,
unalive.
really?
This was going on for a while.
Which
Okay.
they are not authorized to detain. They are not authorized any police duties in this under Trump's order. All they can do is be a wall of humans.
So these guys are now literally now they also have people in their vans. They have people that they're caring for that they've actually taken out into custody. So there's these three vans and people surrounding these, and I swear to God, it's like Black Hawk Down or Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford. We got these people where one of the SUV at the end, the Tahoe, white Tahoe, gets separated because there's a dude running in front of them backwards. And I'm going to give this guy a lot of credit. He was running backwards for a long time at a good click. And then he tripped. And people are running alongside him and he tripped and he fell. I'm not sure. I heard that the guy expired. I don't know if he died or not, but he fell back. The vehicle stopped. It didn't hit him. He fell back. The vehicle came right to his feet. They backed up and people are throwing bricks into the windows, ice, projectiles, and then they went around and they're trying to catch up with their caravan now that they've been separated from. Because the other two guys are like, I'm not waiting around. And they have the prisoners or the detainees that they're taking back to the federal building. So that was on Friday.
Hmm.
Friday, we had a lot
And
of looting.
that was, to be specific, that was ICE operations. ICE is allowed to detain and arrest.
Yes,
This was not the guard. This was not the Marines.
absolutely. And so we had, so from that point, we have people now surrounding the ICE building and they're calling for backup. It takes cops, LAPD. Look, I'm not even blaming the cops, but it took them over an hour to get there before they could start to put up a line. Well, that was Friday. It was a huge ordeal. It went all night. There were a lot of fires, everything going on. The police couldn't get there quick enough. Um, Trump had a conversation with Gavin Newsom and said, "We'll send him." And Gavin Newsom said, "No, we don't want your help." Well,
Hmm.
everything going on with No King's Day, we got to stop this right now because this is just going to gain momentum. Trump in my opinion, Trump did the right thing. He called in the National Guard, and all they did was literally stand in front of the federal building because these people literally were surrounding. In LA. There's other cities, but in LA, there's a big block, and there's a couple of. It's all federal buildings,
Right.
and
Pretty
people
standard
have these
Yeah.
guys
for
Yeah.
surrounded.
every
Standard stuff.
metro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
so they
standard.
so they had these guys surrounded, and they had so they had the National Guard out there. And I just want to say, I'm sure they had guns someplace, but when they were standing in front of the building while people were taunting them and doing whatever, standing inches away in some cases, well, before the National Guard didn't do anything that first day, they didn't even have guns on them. They had sticks.
That's right.
So
Yep.
while
They
everybody's
had
saying,
what they call the riot package.
yes,
Not, yeah. Yep.
and so they had these long sticks. You can't tell, but they had these long sticks.
Yeah, it looks like a wooden sword.
it looks like a wooden sword, and that's what they had to keep people away. And they didn't do anything, and the crowd stayed mostly right there, taunting him. There were a couple, whatever. That's protest. I don't care. When the sun goes down and they finally move people away. By the way, on Friday they shut down the 101, and which is another major artery right there. And I know if you guys don't know California, the 101 backs up to the 610, the 110, which backs all the way up to the 5, backs up. So when they cut that freeway off, you just slowed all of California down on a Friday night. So they did that. They started to do it again on Saturday. But by that time, Trump said, "We have troops here if you need them. We're protecting our assets. Nobody's running around the city with armored tanks like everybody was talking about until Tuesday." Um, and they're just surrounding the building. This happened all weekend. Now, on Tuesday, ICE is going back around to start doing their duties again and apprehending
Right.
illegals.
Going back, doing their job. Yep.
And now we have armed, and the optics are bad, but we're still not looking at Marines. We're still looking at National Guard. You've got big Humvees, big khaki Humvees out there, and guys with big guns. And they're out there. They're protecting these guys while they're doing the ice raids because now we've already determined. And Gavin Newsom said we're not going to help you. So they're on their own and they know it. So Trump in his fashion says, well, we're still going to conduct the raids because we still do it. So now that we've gotten to that point, now they're actively going out into the community. The Marines, last I heard, I haven't heard all the way yet, but I heard the Marines are sitting someplace just outside of LA in a small town.
They are. Yeah.
So
Which is what happened under Herbert Walker Bush.
so they're close. And if
They're
stuff starts to go wrong, you've got the bad
yeah, and
guys.
you're gonna look at like probably the next state you're gonna see this is in Washington State. The police chief just said we're actively going to defy ICE orders. But I think you're gonna see this more. Again, we gotta look at this from what's their objective. Their objective is to show, look, you voted for a dictator. You brought this violence upon yourselves.
Yep.
Don't you regret your vote yet? Change your
Yeah.
vote in the midterms. This is what this is about. And the answer is I don't regret any of it. Now I can also say I don't know if I want Marines doing things, but National Guard in states have been used to squash riots over and over and over again, and we can start pulling stories on that for you if you don't believe
Yep.
it. Yeah, they just come in and they're a massive presence, and they form a wall, and you can't pass the wall. Go
Nope.
home. Go
No, you're
home.
100%
Or you're
right, Jim.
about to take a pepper ball straight to the
Yep.
face at 700 miles an hour.
I'm good with that. I'm good. I mean, you know what? I mean, and that's the thing. Now, the National Guard doing what they're doing, that's fine. I don't want the Marines anywhere near my cities. I don't. I
Did
don't.
you see the two Blackhawks that made a pass? I was like, seriously, bros? Like, if you're going to make a serious pass, you can't bring in a couple of F-22s and run them right down the strip in the middle of Los Angeles. That was weak. Weak, bros. I want to. No, I'm kidding. But Blackhawks, Blackhawks are like so 1990s.
So, so those Blackhawks, but those Blackhawks, here's
Really?
the thing. Those Blackhawks landed. So those Blackhawks landed, and people were videoing them taking stuff out of there, canisters, probably ammunition or non-lethal rounds. I don't know what they were taking out, but two Blackhawks were filmed uh, on the ground with people taking stuff from them. So Blackhawks getting a surveillance of the area, yes, absolutely, and dropping off supplies, okay,
Listen, I'm just making fun of the
yeah,
Blackhawk
I know.
platform because we have 22s and we have satellites. We can see everything that's going on the ground live via satellite. Even Google can fucking see what's going on live with
You
their
can watch it shit
satellite
on
constellation.
FlightAware.
Right?
Right?
You know what?
FlightAware? Oh my God, yeah.
You know what can't
Jesus.
do the job? F-35, that's fucking jet, stupid piece of crap.
Dude,
Boom!
I did not get that video. There was a video out today that's going viral of a VTOL version of the F-35 So it touches down, and apparently, like the rumor is, because of the way these fucking things were built, is that the bicycle chains they use to change the elevation
Yeah.
on the
Change the
rear
elevators on the rear. Yeah.
on the rear snapped, and so the thing just started bouncing down. Oh, I did make a comment on one of the posts. It's like, you know what? Just can we accept that these VTOL versions are an absolute piece of shit and cancel the contract finally? And that's when people started pointing out to me. They're like, it was a bike chain. I was like, ah, you
Yeah.
got God,
So
what a Paul, a bike chain.
I,
All right. Um, there's better designs out there. The
oh, you
VTOL
think?
F-35 is the not the one to do. I just want to do something different. Hey, Pete Hegseth, because you know we all know you watch this podcast. Can you terminate that contract, please? That's all we're asking for. Just terminate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Throw out an RFP.
Just don't carry on with the shit.
Right.
You keep repeating shit that doesn't work. That's what do they say, Sean? That's the definition
The
of
definition of
insanity.
insanity.
Yeah, you keep doing it over and over again, thinking there's going to be a different outcome.
So,
No,
Mr.
it's not.
Hegseth, because we
Falls out of the
know.
sky, and the guy bounces off the runway, and then he launches.
All right. So again, Pete Hegseth, we know you watch this podcast. So just look. There's a termination for clause. Yeah, that was a bunch of words in that contract. Terminate it for cause. They failed to fulfill the contract. Terminate the contract. Just end it. Be
Yep.
done. If you want another one of those, and I don't think we need those, we need to be looking forward at drone warfare. Throw out an RFP for a new model of fighter jet or whatever this thing Trump's talking about, the F-47 that's going to be flying around. I have no idea what the abomination this thing's going to be.
It's going to
I
have
hope it's awesome, but given the F-35 program, I don't believe it'll be awesome.
the F-47
Oh.
is going to have a gold ejection seat. Because if you pull that, you're shitting your pants.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh God, no. Oh, yeah, probably so. Probably so.
So this no kings thing, I went ahead and I looked at it, and I looked at some of the maps, and where they're planning on going. I don't know who designed this map, but I can tell you that one of the places they're going. I used to live in Sacramento, right? And in Sacramento is a very blue area. Above Sacramento, to the east and to the north, they're very conservative, and their policemen are very conservative. They're very uh, uh, they're what you would expect from almost a back hills place. So we're talking about like some of the places like I can tell you near Placerville when they had BLM that was going into all the neighborhoods during the Summer of Love, and I almost can wait and I want to see the video of this happening. Because during the Summer of Love, they had all of these people come into, and I know you guys are going to remember when I tell you, come into this gated community. And this dude was on his front porch with a gun, pointed at
Right.
people,
Okay.
and he had
And
a gun for
wife.
people, and he said, "Get off of my property. You're not welcome here." And they started to come at it, and here comes the old lady, God bless her, comes out with a pistol pointing it at him saying, "You're going to leave our neighborhood. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome here." And they go, "We're just expressing it's a gated community. You're not supposed to be in here." And they left. And I'm not saying, I don't know if you guys remember seeing that on the news because
Oh yeah.
it made it everywhere. That was literally a neighborhood that I used to service. And I can tell
Oh,
you that,
really? Was it, Kevin?
yes, absolutely.
Oh
Um,
my God, dude.
so those people, they're very they're not only just 2A, but they're very conservative people. And there's a lot of these. If you look at the map going up and down there, there's a lot of these protests that are up there, and I don't know how these people are going to fare in some of these communities
Wow.
because
Wow, that's
that's
pretty amazing, right, Sean?
Yeah. Also, I agree with you, Cass. I looked at the map for my area, and then I kind of looked at the map for my old area in Indiana, and they're specifically targeting more blue towns, which is it's obviously because they can get more support from that. But it's like, why? If you want to get your message across, aren't you supposed to be attacking the Orange Kings towns? I mean, they're calling it no king. They think Trump is a king, which is hilarious. Have they ever met King Charles, who just opened up Parliament in Canada? Who's a king? Who has territories all across the globe? Have they ever met a king that they don't like? Because they really like kings. They love King Charles. They just hate the Orange Man. It's listen. I I'm gonna shout out to an account indie underscore reporter underscore. They are live right now. I can't bring the stream up. I just set up our new computer to do all this podcasting. I finally got it, Paul. Thank God it's finally here. Um, but I can't pull it up yet because I haven't set up all my links. Like I don't have my Twitter in there. I don't have my email in there. So I can't bring it live, but they're live right now. So there's a NBA Finals game going on in Indianapolis right now, and they are live on the ground, walking around with no Kings protesters, while people from Oklahoma and Indianapolis are walking into a basketball game for the finals, and they are
There you
trying
go.
to purposely be disruptive. So
Yep.
shout out to that account, indie
Yep.
underscore reporter underscore. It's live right now. Oh, we've got like 13 minutes left, so I won't be mad if you bail out and go check out that live, because it's really good. And they're not being disruptive; they're just live streaming. They're not saying anything to anybody. They're just walking around, and it's wild to see these No Kings protests trying to piss off basketball fans. Like, for what reason? Well, we know the reason, right? They're looking for a fight.
I mean,
They want the
they're looking
fight.
for a fight, Sean.
Yeah, they want the
Yeah.
fight. So, shout out there. I will tag you later, Andy underscore reporter underscore later. I will tag you once this video is processed, and give you the credit, and I will add your account into the chat so that people can see that. But like,
Perfect.
this is you gotta you absolutely have to understand that none of this is because people are mad that ICE is deporting people.
Yeah, it's really not. That's not what it's about.
So I've actually been, and this is what I've tried explaining this to people. In my line of work, I was a lineman, and in my line of work, I work with a lot of different kinds of people, and I worked with people that were not legal. Doesn't mean I didn't like them. It didn't mean I didn't care for them. And it didn't mean that they weren't some of my favorite people. But I would ask him questions. What happens if you get deported? And he says, "Well, if I don't show up on a Monday, I'm either hungover or they came and got me." But I've been detained by ICE 3 times under Obama. I've been detained by ICE 4 times. Now look at me. I've been detained by ICE. I mean, because that's what they do. I have sat there in the zip ties while they come in. They check. They make
Wow.
sure we have license, and they did it with everybody. So as to be fair, but 3 times
Mm.
it was under Obama that ICE came through and raided my work. I was at my last job for 25 years, so there's a lot of influx of things that I've seen. This wasn't in a short period of time. It was 25 years. And 3 times under Obama, ICE raided my job. And I don't know what to tell people. It's not what they would
I
do.
experienced that under Bill Clinton. on the
Yep.
south side of Chicago working in a factory. They
Yep.
literally would climb the roof, throw nets over all the cargo bay doors, the truck doors, and the personnel doors, and then just come in. And people tried to run, and they were stuck in nets. They took them all. It. The problem was is that Bill Clinton deported them, but then they got back across the border. And I
Wait,
asked a foreman one time, hey, I was, I don't know, a teenager, 17, 18, whatever, working on the south side. Cicero, what a shitty little fucking suburb.
Wait a minute. You're not a teenager now?
So, no. I, God, if you could only go back, would you? That's a question I'll leave for the chat. Would you actually go back? Um, the foreman said to me, "Don't worry about it. They'll be back in a week." That's what we've been under since Clinton, probably before. And Trump saying, "No, it's fine. It's time to finally stop this charade. We're gonna send them back, and we're not gonna let them back in. You're done." And
No.
we're not going to separate your families. We're going to send your entire family with you back to wherever your country of origin is.
Right.
yeah, they've got all they're pulling out all the heartstrings right now for what they're talking about. And they showed like a dad and a son that got deported back to Honduras, and it was a teenage kid.
Oh yeah, and yeah, and they showed the kid, and yeah, I got you, Kes. Yep.
Do you remember the one that they brought out that said, "Oh, she was looking to be in medical school. That was her dream in life, and now she has to go back because her father's illegal." They didn't mention the fact that she's also illegal, the daughter.
Yeah,
But none of this is
No, because they
new.
want to leave a path for greatness for her.
yeah, they want there's that path to citizenship, and here's the problem, and this is where they kind of left all talk on that all the way aside, because what they told us before was DACA and a path to citizenship. If you're already here, then you're going to get that path to citizenship, right? And a bunch of us went, "Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah, it makes sense. Let's go ahead and do that." And so we did that. Um, oh, sorry. And so they said, "Yeah, are you sure?" And they said, "Are you sure you want to?" Okay, fine. Now we're here 8 years later, and now we're still talking about people that have been brought here after that. I'm sorry, that time's gone. You had your time; it's now gone. We had DACA and everybody that was here, but now everybody coming forward should know you're not welcome. And now it's like since 2008, I have been called a racist because of Obama, because I didn't vote for Obama. And now when people call me a racist, it has no effect on me. I don't care.
Hmm.
I don't care. Call me garbage. Call me refuse. I don't care. I
So,
embrace it.
but so were you actually called racist during the Obama years?
Oh yeah. So sorry, I'll make it quick. So my daughter was I think in third grade at the time, right? She was like third grade, and she came home and she goes, "Daddy, you know, who are you gonna vote for president?" I says, "Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really made up my mind." She goes, "Are you gonna vote for Obama?" And I said, "Well, sweetie, I'm not really sure yet, but I don't think so because Obama and very adult." Obama says he wants to fundamentally change the United States. And if you don't know what that means, it means he wants to change the way we do things. Do you like how
Right.
our life is now? She goes, yeah. And I go, then I don't want to vote for him. But I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. But I'm
Okay.
thinking
Fair
not.
enough. Yeah.
So she waits a few minutes and she goes, Daddy, does that mean you're a racist? This is what they taught in
Good
school.
Lord. I've had similar experiences,
Oh,
Cass.
whoa.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Paul. I've
Oh,
had
she's
similar
what,
experiences with
9?
kids.
yeah, like 9. And she asked me
She's
if I'm a
9 years
racist.
old and she said that to you?
Yes. Yes.
I've
Like
had
unprompted, not.
Paul,
Wow,
I have
dude.
had so my kids would be 24, 23, and 13, and about that same age. This would have been the Obama era. Kid number one wasn't quite like no, wouldn't have talked to me this way because kid number one wasn't talking. Um, Yes, I had literally the conversations at the dinner table. Like, and they would bring them up because they knew I was a Trump supporter at the time, 2015. Um, which at first they were like, "Oh, Dad's a Trump supporter. We're Trump supporter." But then they would come home from school and literally ask me about like after he got elected, they would ask me about, well, he said you need to drink bleach. They learned this shit in school.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He said like whatever, and just go through all the hoaxes, the
Yeah.
fine people hoax. He said this, Sean. No, he actually didn't. And I would play them the full video. And eventually they just got so mad that they just stopped doing politics with me because they knew I could refute They didn't know I could refute it. They just didn't want to hear my answer because they were taught in school every day Donald Trump is the enemy of the world and will ruin the United States in public schools. I've personally watched this happen to 3 children.
Yeah, it's not so. Even I mean, when you break it down to the very bottom level, I used to be a smoker, cigarette smoker. My wife now used to be a smoker, and we had kids similar in age, but we weren't together yet. And they did the exact same thing with her in one part of the state than they did with me. And California is a huge state; it's like 2 states. My wife then lived in a different part, um, and we had the same experience. Kids come home and they go, we go to light up a cancer stick and they're like, "Oh, you're a druggie, you're a druggie," because that's what they taught them to say. Because we're smoking. If you drank, if you did anything that's
Right.
deemed not great, you're a drug,
Right.
and that's what it was. And
Mm.
they would say, "My mom's a druggie, my dad's a
Yeah.
druggie," and these are two different homes. My wife and I weren't together yet. My current wife and I were not together, but our kids did the same thing, and they're a few years apart. This is what the schools teach them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%, man. Yep.
I listen. I'm I'm gonna victim myself. I still have a kid that's in public schools, and holy shit, is it awful! It just keeps getting worse. And I get divorced parents, lives with mom. I think we don't have the finances to do private. I don't know if she would to begin with. Like this is we have an indoctrination factory inherently built into the education system, and it's awful, Paul. I'm telling you, like when I went to school, we didn't see any of this shit. Gen
Right.
X.
None of it. Yep.
Oh, I'm at the late end of Gen X, being closer to Gen Z. We still didn't see it.
So I'm going to give you
What
an
was your
actual question.
what was
This
your
is
birth year?
What?
What was your birth year?
I won't give that on live. I will tell you, I graduated high school in 1996.
Okay, so I mean, you're a cusp, even though you're Gen X, you're cusp baby boomer.
no
Uh,
other way.
other side. I'm
Yeah.
Oh
closer
no, other way.
to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
closer to Gen Z.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're closer to Gen Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
good for you. Oh, look at you. That's so awesome.
Look how cute Sean is.
Look how cute Sean is. Got his little hat on and oh, that's great, dude.
Yeah, you want to
Oh,
hear something
fuck.
funny? Sean is
Yeah. We got a minute left. Go.
Sean Sean is three years older than my youngest child.
Get the fuck. Oh my god.
Uh,
My young
Boosh.
my youngest
Boosh.
was born in '99.
oh, no. That's when I graduated
Oh,
high
sorry,
school,
sorry,
sir.
sorry. That's yeah.
No, your math's off by about
No,
21 years.
sorry. Yeah, but just picture you being that age and having a kid. So yeah, you're right. My math is off a lot. Yeah, my bad.
I didn't start having kids until I was in my 30s. I think a lot of people didn't. It happens.
late 20s, late 20s.
All right, so we got to close this out. Hey, real quick, I've got a quick programming update Friday. It looks like Kess and I will be doing a Maha space with our new friend, Desi the Americanist. And we're just going to ask him Maha questions. We'd love if Paul would join. We might get a little more political because Desi can get political, but it's generally Maha when we do this. It's a new thing we're doing over on Orange Podcast Bad. So Paul wants to join. If Edward, if you're listening to
I'd
this
love
live at
to.
home,
Yeah.
okay, I'll send everybody the link. But I've got Desi. The last message I got for him said Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. He's locked in and he's really excited to talk with Cass and we can Maha, and maybe I can finally just sit back and shut the fuck up and let you guys podcast, and I'll just do the producer stuff. We'll see. Who knows? All
No
right,
pressure.
so the rest of the work can be done offline. We'll talk later. I just wanted to let the audience know Maha Friday this time coming up. Let's close it out, boys. Good to see you. I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of all your work.
God bless you, Paul.
What about the Pope?
God bless you, Paul.
Have a good night, everybody.